Rahim. I'm teacher Momen odah from Al-Qala'a Al-Hijazya school, and this lesson for grade 7. This is lesson 4 from chapter 5, or chapter 4, I'm sorry, lesson 4, Lives of Stars. So in this lesson, we have two main goals. Yes, we have two main goals in this lesson. First one is how star form and what determine its lifespan. Each student should know how to answer this question or know the answers of these questions. Now, the goal number two is what happens to a star when it runs out of fuel. Each thing in the world has its own lifespan. So star when the star finish its fuel, so it will die in levels or in steps. We will know later what are these steps. Now in general, let's talk about general case of burning star. Now star is born sorry a star is born when the contracting gas and dust from a nebula. Nebula is the large cloud of gas and dust spread out in a huge volume. So now after a star is born when the contracting gas and dust from a nebula become so dense. This is the forming or the first step of forming star. Now each star should have nuclear fusion in its forming. So nuclear fusion is the fuse or unite of two atoms to form what? To form a larger or a dense or a heavier atom. So the star lifespan depends on its mass. It's very important to know that the lifespan depends on its mass. If the mass increase of if يعني the star with a huge mass has less lifespan than a star with less mass. Why, we will know later on this session, inshallah. Now let's talk about nebula and a protostar. Nebula is a large cloud of gas and dust spread out in a huge volume. Now this is the nebula. Now nebula, it's a close or the closest figure that I found in the internet about the nebula. So this is nebula which can collect or can gather the dust, the cosmic dust and cosmic gases by what? By a center by a center gravity, or yes, center gravity that absorb these things to form what? To form a mass. This mass becomes later a star. Okay. Now, protostar, a contracting cloud of gas and dust with enough mass to form a star. يعني it's very close to nebula. They have they have the same definition approximately. So proto mean earliest. So earliest star. So protostar mean earliest star. In the dense part of any star, dense part means at most it located at the center of any star. This is the dense part of any star. A gravity forms and it pulls cosmic dust and gases. Now, after forming star, as any mass, it will have what? It will have a huge, or it will have a center that absorbs and pulls anything around it. So we call it dense part. Dense part pulls anything toward the center of the mass or the center of any object. That's what happened in the Borno star. Like, now lifespan or lifetime star. Before lifetime of a star, let's talk about nuclear fusion, because it's very important for forming a star. So nuclear fusion, atoms combine to form heavier atoms. Atoms like what? For example, we have two hydrogen atoms. They combine or unite or fuse to form what? To form helium. After that, helium will will radiates energy and neutron. That's not important in our study, but here we only have to know what is the meaning of nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion again is the forming or combine or fuse of two atoms to form one heavier atom. Like when hydrogen and another hydrogen atom fuse, okay, or combine to form a heavier atom which has two times the mass of the atom of hydrogen atoms. Okay. Now, lifetimes of star, if you open your textbook page 144, you will find lifetimes of stars, and we have the second paragraph and third paragraph are very important. So, lifetime of a star or how long does it live depends on the star's mass. As we mentioned earlier, it depends on stars' mass. So, a small star have lifespan of 2 billion years. 2 billion years. Look, a medium star has 10 billion years. Why? Because a medium star consumes more fuel than a small star. So, the medium star will die before what? Before a small star. Okay? And this is explain why small star has more lifespan than the medium or a medium star or even a large star. Now, let's talk about what happened to a star when it runs out of fuel. You have to memorize these 4 steps. In your textbook, page 145, we have 4 steps. White dwarf. The white dwarf is the blue-white core of the star that is left behind, cools, and becomes a white dwarf. This is the white dwarf. Now, supernova, this is the step that comes after white dwarf in star death or after it runs out of fuel. So, supernova is the explosion. You have only to know that supernova means explosion. Explosion of what? Explosion of the star. Now, neutron star is the remains of high mass star. Any high mass star, okay, they will remain, they will have remains, and this remains called neutron stars. Now, the fourth step is the black hole. After neutron star, we have black hole, or maybe the star become a black hole after its death. So, is an object with very strong gravity that absorbs even light. Now, this object has a center mass. No one knows what is the black hole is, so they call it an object. It has a specific diameter, it has a specific properties, but the most important or the obvious property of the black hole is that it can absorb anything. So you can find only black hole inside it because it even absorbs what? It even absorbs the light. So this is our lesson today. Boys, if you have any question for our session or about our session, you can contact me on our group on WhatsApp.